Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. I have been solving math problems for GRE out of this book here, practicing to take the GRE General Test, the 10th edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it in order to prepare for the exam. The problem that I'm about to solve is the one that you're going to find on page number 361, quantitative comparison question, QC. Hence the QC. Number 7. Number 7. Excuse me. They tell us that A and B are both greater than 0 and less than 1. In other words, A and B are both fractions. A and B are greater than 0 but less than 1. So A is between 0 and 1 and B is between 0 and 1. In other words, they are fractions. That's what they're trying to tell you. And they want us to compare A squared plus B squared versus A plus B. The concept that they're testing here is what happens if you have a fraction and you square it. See, ordinarily if you have a number and if you square it, it gets bigger, obviously. 2 squared is bigger than 2. But what happens if you have a fraction? 1/2, when you square it, when you square a half, you end up with 1/4, which is less than 1/2, obviously. So that's what they're saying. That's all they're testing here. That if you have a fraction and when you square it, that final quantity, the square of the fraction, is less than the fraction itself. It doesn't have to be squared. You can raise it to more powers. If a fraction raised to any power is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. 1/2 raised to 1 is just 1/2. Then this is 1/4. 1/2 raised to 3 is going to be 1/8, and so forth. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So here we have A versus A squared, and we know that A is a fraction, and therefore A squared is going to be less than A, and B versus B squared, and we know that A squared here is less than A, and we know that B squared is less than B, because they are fractions, as I keep repeating, and therefore A squared plus B squared is going to be less than A plus B. Or you can plug in numbers and you will see the same thing. If you plug in numbers, for example, if you plug in half for A, this is going to be half squared, and if you were to plug in, what do you want to plug in here? Let's plug in a third. So here we end up with 1/4 plus 1/9. Of course, that is going to be less than 1/2 plus 1/3. And that's all. That's all there is. There's not much to do here. That was the end of question number. You don't actually have to do the common denominator and all that. You can just look at it and tell. You can just look at it and tell yourself that this quantity altogether is more than this, or this quantity altogether is less than this quantity, because 1/4 is less than 1/2 and 1/9 is less than 1/3. Since 1/9 is less than 1/3 and 1/4 is less than 1/2, therefore their sum is going to be less than this sum. That's all. That's all there is. You don't have to do the common denominator and all that mumbo jumbo. That was question number 7. That's it. I hope you found it helpful. If you wish to get hold of me for personal private tutoring, either face-to-face tutoring or over the internet via Skype or through telephone, go to my website at www.prep.gre.com and send me an email. Or you can go to www.KeshwaniPrep.com and send me an email. Alright? Thanks.